Well. We're back. We didn't expect to be back today. We
No.
thought maybe we might be back before Christmas, some sort of breaking news, maybe a trade. I don't think we saw this one coming. I don't think we saw this one happening. Around 4:30 in the morning, turns out Carlos Correa became a Met. Jack, your thoughts?
Um, it's hard to sum them up.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Pretty
them.
fair.
Like reading, little anecdotes, including like when like Correa's reaction when Boris told him,
He
and
tackled the man.
right, and that when Boris realized the deal was falling apart, he texts Cohen, and he tells him Correa may have come early. And
So he said.
yeah, he texted him and said, Correa may come early.
I
Do you have a
missed that
second to
one.
chat? I just saw that one before we came on. It's like you'd think I'd be sitting here like smiling ear to ear, but it's I think this is kind of we talk about in a season you have your linchpin moments.
Mm-hmm.
Like the 7-run ninth inning in Philly.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you kind of knew, all right, this Mets team is going somewhere.
Yeah.
Even like the 2015 Mets, you know, when they hit 3 homers off Jordan Zimmerman in 1 inning
Yeah.
in 5 pitches. And you kind of think to
That was
yourself,
bonkers.
all right, this team's, this isn't just
Mm-hmm.
some red hot 2 3 weeks and it just happens the Nationals are playing like shit.
Yeah.
It happens in every sport. Like you have those moments where you're like, all right, yeah. But this is your linchpin moment
Mm-hmm.
where you have a 60 plus year history that for a couple triumphs, you know, has for the most part been bad.
Yeah.
This has not been a particularly successful franchise. Even
Usually the butt of the joke.
right, it's the butt of the joke. It's the successes are short lived, and even in the successes, there's a joke.
Of course.
Now, you can't talk about the 2015 Mets without talking about leaving Matt Harvey in for too long.
Like even this year, you win
Without talking
101
about
games and you get eliminated by getting one hit in the postseason.
yeah, I mean it's like back to 2015. It's leaving Harvey in too long. It's Cespedes' play in center field.
When he picked
It's
off.
it's Familia's quick pitch.
Hmm.
2016, you just can't fucking touch Bumgarner. Connor Gillespie. 2019, he had a couple good weeks. 2021, completely fall apart.
Yeah.
The successes are so short lived that sometimes it's even just can't even make it a full season.
Yeah.
But this is the point where the, the trajectory of the franchise just makes that final turn. And we're past the days of hoping that there's 3 good teams in a decade.
Mm-hmm.
The Mets were set up so well for a long-term run of success.
Yeah.
With the 2013 really beginning like kind of 2014 is when you go out and you get Granderson. Looking at the prospects they had, that's a team that was set up for a long-term run built on dominant pitching,
Mm-hmm.
a few big bats, and hopefully filling in the rest with veteran pieces.
Yeah. That didn't
But
really
but
work out. It was a
but
couple flashes in the pan.
but you were set up for that,
Oh, you're absolutely set up for that.
and you get a good 2015 and a good 2016, and then it fades and it's gone.
Fade is a good way to put it,
It crashes and
but
burns.
yeah, fade was a nice way to put
But
it. I
you
should
but you have this next, like next great rotation, great staff in baseball. Travis Darno comes up and he's great right away, but he can't keep it on the field.
right.
You know, Lucas Duda is really seemingly finally putting it all together, then quickly falls off again.
Mm,
Murphy leaves. Wright's body fails him. Cespedes' body fails him.
right.
Then you have guys like a Gavin Caccini who just don't work out.
Didn't pan out. Yeah.
But you're looking at now a Mets team who, for better or for worse, really is kind of coming off their like 2014 season. Obviously, the 2022 was incredibly successful,
Mm,
but I don't think many people genuinely thought they were going to win the World Series. The fan in me did,
yeah.
the baseball watcher in me didn't. Granted, I thought it would be at the expense of the Dodgers or the Braves,
Sure.
but you're looking at a point now where you've spent $800 million in free agency. You are you are no longer the lovable loser.
No.
I think the best way I can describe it is like you have Stephen A. Smith on the flagship, the mothership this morning. You have him on the most successful sports network in the world. And he is the most successful sports personality currently on the most successful sports network in the world,
Hmm.
who is a diehard Yankees and Knicks fan, saying that he is jealous of the New York Mets
How about that?
in that this reminds him of peak George Steinbrenner.
You have Chris Russo and Steve Phillips on MLB Network calling the Mets, the villains of baseball.
And they are.
And they are. Like, there's no question about it. You
You
spend
can't
$800 million in free agency. You're the villains. You have a $400 million payroll. You're the villains.
no, I mean you can't have a big
And
name
when it's topped
player.
off by signing Correa, who is part of the biggest cheating scandal in baseball history, you become the
No,
villains.
yeah, you can't have like a big name free agent hit the market anymore without it being well. The Mets are interested. Whether this is you know Steve Cohen is going full Jim Crane
Right.
and Billy Epler is just sitting in the corner looking pretty,
Right.
or Billy Epler is orchestrating one of the best off seasons in baseball history. We don't know. We're not privy to that information.
Of course not.
But the head of this organization is just putting on an absolute masterclass.
An absolute masterclass.
And
I like to
it's
think it's a little bit of both because obviously it takes two to tango in that sense where Epler and Cohen need to be on the same page. Where it's
oh
not
yeah,
just Epler saying, go get this guy or vice versa. But I like to think when it comes to the bigger names, the Verlanders, the Correas now, getting Nimmo done. I like to think some of that heavy lifting was done by Cohen, but some of the smaller moves, the Jose Quintanas, the Kodai Sengas, Adam Ottavino getting done, those smaller moves, the trade for Brooks Raley, I'm attributing that to Billy Epler because that's more in his wheelhouse where, again, coming from a scouting background to fill out the roster, but all I want to talk about is that Carlos Correa is a Met. If we go back 1 year, if we go back one calendar year, I'm probably sitting in this exact same spot, talking to you, convincing you that Justin Verlander and Carlos Correa should be on the Mets. And here we are 1 year later, and somehow they're both here. I don't know how we got to this point. I don't know who to thank besides Steve Cohen, but I would like to thank them, shake their hand, give them a hug, and say, have a Merry Christmas.
I need to like kiss the Giants team doctors on the cheek.
Oh my God. That's who we need to thank. I need to give a big thank you to Farhan Saidi for letting this fall through.
And I'm gonna make one point off that.
Please do.
Harold Reynolds kind of alluded to this morning. You can't. You come into the winter and you hear the teams are going to spend the most money. The Yankees need to spend to bring Judge back. The
And they
Padres
did.
spend every year now.
Sure.
and they did. The Phillies have money to spend. They did. The Mets have money to spend. They did. The Cubs, they did, and the Giants. I
McHenry was a nice
cannot think
player.
of a worse winter a team has had in recent memory than what the Giants have put up.
No,
And it's
catastrophic.
not even just what that the Giants missed on these guys.
Yeah.
It's that they seemingly were on the 1 yard line twice. I mean, you're in your jumbo formation. Fullback is in, three tight ends. Receiver, tackle reports is eligible.
Refrigerator Perry's in the backfield as a fullback.
You got you're you got four chances to push it 1 yard, and you score. And you're scoring either Aaron Judge, Carlos Correa.
I'd say even worse than that. To stick with a football analogy, they were inside the 20 on 4 separate occasions. They were on the 1 yard line with Aaron Judge. I'd say they theoretically scored with Correa, but it was called back with a holding.
Yeah, or New York called him and over. Yeah, New York called him and overturned it. Here's your perfect
The
sports
knee was down at the
cross.
1.
Yeah,
I'd say they were inside the 5 or 10 yard line on Carlos Rodon, but then he went to the Yankees. And I'd say after the
Dansby.
Judge negotiations went through, they were inside the 20. They're in the red zone for Brandon Nimmo. And then Steve Cohen swoops it again.
Yeah, and there were reports they were in heavy on Dansby.
Yeah.
It's
It's such a bad
it's
how
it's
do they not
mind-boggling.
address this to their fans? I know they
It's
put out like
mind-boggling.
a 2 sentence statement about what happened with Correa, and I mean they just seem pretty butthurt. And listen, rightfully so, but you have to communicate something with your fan base. Communicate why fans should still believe in you and your front office, your regime, and why they should still show up. Listen, Jock Peterson is a good player. Mitch Haniger, good player.
But you're at a point where Jock Peterson is effectively the face of your franchise,
Yes.
and you are. No, I'm not going to stutter here. You are the San Francisco Giants.
Yeah.
You are probably the most hated team of the 2010s. You are
Probably.
home to guys that were pillars of the game while they were active. Buster Posey,
Yep.
Tim Lincecum,
Prime Mad Bum. I mean,
Prime Bumgarner. I mean, 2010, 2012, 2014.
Matt Cain. I mean, Brian Wilson. Like you just go on and more
Sergio
and more
Romo
and more and more.
and even guys as recently as 2 years ago, like you're running out a bunch of veterans who are somehow in career years and part timers who are putting up seasons of a lifetime,
Yeah.
and even 107 games, 108. And it is inconceivable.
Use all that black magic on 1 year and it's just talk
I'll
about
just
crash
put it
and
this
burn.
way.
Yeah.
When I think about the Giants, I go back to the Wilmer Flores check swing.
Yeah. Oddly enough against Max Scherzer.
What happens if the correct call is
If the
made there?
correct yeah. That call was botched.
Oh, and no one's saying it wasn't.
Yeah.
But you go back to that. If they win that series, the Dodgers. We know it doesn't make a difference than the Dodgers.
Right.
Because they're still the Dodgers regardless.
Right.
But what happens? And you're now at a point where, yeah, I mean, you've had it twice come out. I mean, if in this athletic piece, like, they talk about how Correa was dressed and ready for his press conference.
It's such a bad
Then
look,
he
man.
finds out is canceled
Because of
and
an injury from before he was drafted. We're going back 13 years.
they're talking about an injury from when he was a high schooler.
Right.
He was
What are we
drafted out of high
doing?
school.
He's never missed a game for an ankle problem from what I can remember.
Is that
You
what
want
it
to talk
was?
about
An ankle issue?
I don't know if the thing that I read was 100% true, but I saw someone
Speculation.
imply it was an ankle. But
Yeah, and
if you want to talk about his back, Fine, that's a bit of a concern. He broke the rib that one time. Maybe we want to go there. Sure. Not his shoulder, not his back, not any of that, not his elbow. What's the holdup?
And even just thinking about like the insane levels of irony to this. It's the same New York Mets under seemingly the same leadership on this front that tried to talk Scott Boras down because of medicals
Mm-hmm.
for Kumar Rocker.
It's a good point.
And obviously, there's less at stake because they turn around and get a compensatory pick,
Right.
which, mind you, they turn into Jet Williams. But they're now the Texas Rangers in this. They're now on the receiving end. And as we've seen with Rocker, it seemingly ended up better for the receiving end. Now, if you're the Rangers, you get Rocker, it's 3, you save money, and you spend bigger in the lower rounds.
Right.
Now you have Rocker and Leiter seemingly heading your rotation with Jacob DeGrom for 10 years.
Sure.
And like even what Jacob DeGrom? What is that poor
someone had to
bastard
say
thinking
it.
to himself right now?
Yeah.
I mean, golly.
But hey, thank God for that Texas winning mentality.
Yeah, I mean the winning mentality that's going to compete with the Giants for the services of Michael Conforto.
Serious stuff, man.
What are you building? Mets Southwest? I mean,
Oh, it's crazy to
pretty
think
nuts.
they do all this 800 million in free agent spending, and by all accounts, they're still trying to sign people.
I
They're going to make
do.
trades. Now, this time we mean it. We mean it this time. The big moves are done.
The big moves are
Big
done
moves are done.
simply because there is no one else.
Right.
And you cannot force like Ben Charrington to just trade you Brian Reynolds.
No.
The big moves are done.
Right.
I don't think Hendricks is serious.
That's one where I'm not believing it until I see it
The
happen.
inclinations I've gotten off that is that was just pressure from the Mets to get Ottavino to sign.
Interesting.
Because you can quickly pivot and be like, all right, this guy's younger. We don't have to, we can just trade for him.
Yeah.
You can go sign elsewhere.
Yeah. They're not getting Conforto. I think it was Pat Ragazzo who said it was either him or Tacoma. They said that's all but not going to happen.
I think they're done with bats.
I could see like one more bench bat.
I couldn't, to be honest. I really can't.
And I'd be fine with that. So let me ask you a question. And you've been talking about this a lot on your Twitter account, but I haven't been
Don't
able to
ask me
follow
about
too
the
much.
fucking RAV4.
No. Don't worry about the RAV4. What do you do with Brett Beatty? Do you have him on the opening day roster? Do you have him play left field? What
I think in an ideal world, Brett Beatty's your opening day left fielder, and Mark Canna kind of fills that, starts 2, 3, 4 days a week and rotating around the outfield role. Because if you're the Mets, yes, you gave Brandon Nimmo this huge new contract, but he, like Carlos Correa, does not have an insane bill of health for the duration of their career.
right?
Neither does Starling Marte, especially recently, as he now hits 34.
Sure.
So I think they're in an ideal world, Brett Beatty's your opening day left fielder. And I think an important thing to note is yes, is the actual games he's played in left field is a relatively small sample size.
Right.
But working on left field does not just mean, hey, Brett, grab a glove and go fuck all out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they're getting work in with him.
It's got the arm for left field.
Well, and they've been doing this for over a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Like this started last summer.
Yeah.
I think last July they started him and Vientos in the outfield. Notice that one of them crashed and burned because we haven't heard shit about it since.
Yeah.
So I think logistically, I would not be surprised if he starts the year in AAA.
Okay.
You get him an extra 4 to 6, son of a bitch, 4 to 6 weeks of reps in left field in AAA, just to get the game time flow of it down. You're gonna have a lot of good chances too, because in theory the Mets have 5 guys on their starting lineup alone who are going to be gone to break a camp
Right.
with the WBC.
Right.
You have your entire starting infield,
Yep.
and
Is McNeil on the USA roster?
Puma was speculating that he is,
Okay.
because Puma said effectively their entire starting infield.
Okay.
And that was before Correa. That was with Escobar.
Yeah.
So in theory, you're going to have Marte, Correa, Lindor, Alonso, Escobar, and potentially McNeil away from camp.
Right.
So the spotlight's going to be on guys like Beatty and Alvarez. So I think they can get him a decent chunk of run in left field in camp. And I think you just take it from there. If it looks good, if it feels good, if it flows well, take him north.
And that would solve two problems because we both agree Beatty should be getting everyday at bats. So if you can play a good serviceable left field, you have him playing every day, and it solves your issue of having to go out there and get another fourth outfielder because Mark Canha will be a damn good fourth outfielder.
No, I mean that's basically
He
what
can
he
play
becomes
all
at that
three
point.
outfield positions, and hell, he can even play first base if Pete needs a day off.
No, yeah, I mean, and that's what he becomes.
Right.
And I think for him, health wise, is probably the best role for him these days. Is like 100 starts a year or 100 games, and you also know you're not going to make it through a full season without someone of the list, if not all of the list of Correa, Nimmo, Marte going on the IL.
Right.
It's just realistic expectations.
Yeah. Like Correa, I think went on the IL, including the COVID IL. I think he went on there 3 times last year.
I think it's been 7 of his 8 years he's hit the IL at least once,
Right.
so it's just fine, But it's good to
Never got
have,
banged up.
yeah, it's good to have this great depth. But if
Yeah.
you're now in a spot where your bench is, you know, Nito, Guillorme, Escobar, Canna, think life is good.
It's a good bench.
It's two probable starters on most other teams in baseball.
Yeah. You have Guillorme and Nito, who Nito was a Gold Glove finalist. Guillorme should have been. Canha, again, very good utility in terms of playing outfield positions and a damn good bat. And Escobar, who we've seen at times, can go on 4 to 5 week stretches where you cannot get him out. And he can play pretty good third base as well. So I think lineup wise, you're feeling pretty good. We haven't even talked about Omar Narvaez, and with all due respect to him,
He's getting overshadowed here.
yeah, this isn't Carlos Correa. The fact that Aaron Judge was named captain of the Yankees today, and nobody cares. Nobody cares. That's how big this is. This is a seismic change in what's happened. And just the landscape of baseball from 24 hours ago is completely different now that Carlos Correa is with the New York Mets.
That's all in the precedent alone that if there is an opportunity there and it makes sense, the Mets will do it.
Opportunistic has been the word Billy Epler has used several times. They saw an opportunity and they took it. Incredible stuff.
No, I mean this is just it's truly remarkable.
Yeah.
I'm genuinely I'm not really sure that I have words for it. I mean, their luxury tax payroll is $388 million. The next closest payroll is the New York Yankees at 292. You can cut their payroll in half, and it's still larger than most teams. If you get them down to 196, you're pitting them between the Cubs and, funny enough, the Giants.
I still think it's hysterical. The penalties that the Mets will be paying this year is higher than, what was it, 8 teams' payrolls? That's ridiculous.
Yeah, something fucking nuts.
That's ridiculous. Steve Cohen don't care. I do think.
I mean, even like Frank the Tank is saying incredible things about the Mets.
I almost don't want that.
I almost do. He's the most miserable guy this world has ever known.
Yeah.
It's the same dude who said Max Scherzer was gonna give up like 300 home runs and Pete Alonso was going to hit .050 in the second half.
He's a jabroni.
But you're at a point where he's saying good things about the Mets. I mean, this is. I remember. I think I told my dad a couple weeks ago. The Mets got Correa. Russell Wilson can like get smacked up the head and not know where he is and yell Broncos ride, let's country
Yeah.
for the next 5 years, and I'm really not gonna care. I'm really not gonna care
Don't care.
because at some point in those next 5 years, I'm gonna be watching Mets World Series highlights,
From your lips to God's ears.
and we're at a point now where the Mets are cementing themselves as a perennial World Series contender.
Yeah.
Because over the next 5 or 6 years, you're 1, 2, 3 for at least a couple more years at the minimum. And this is assuming Alonso never leaves. Because that man screams lifelong bet. Assuming he doesn't leave, you're now looking at 1, 2, 3, 4 for a handful of years of Nimmo Correa, Lindor, Alonso. And mind you, next year, somewhere in there, you have to figure out Jeff McNeil, Starling Marte. I mean, are we talking about what if Omar Narvaez randomly wakes up and hits 25 homers again? Are we
He's
talking
done it
about what if
before. I mean, granted, that was in the juice ball era, but
are we talking about what happens if Brett Beatty becomes this 280, 290 pure hitter with 20 homers? If Francisco Alvarez fulfills potential,
Dak, don't do this to me.
it's
Man. And then you also have people, again, going back to Steve Phillips, he's like, I'm already just assuming that Shohei Ohtani's going to be a Met next year. Can you imagine? And like, obviously, it's all speculative at this point, but the Mets are going to be in on Shohei Ohtani next year. I'm not saying they're going to sign him, but they're going to be one of the front runners.
yeah.
I I just don't know how to react to living in a Mets world like this. And like I woke up and for the first 10 minutes I was awake, I thought I was dreaming. I did not think what was happening was actually happening. Where I go up, I wake up, I check my phone, and I have people saying congratulations to me. Didn't know what that was about. I turn on the TV, I go to Twitter, I see what's going on. I'm not convinced that these events are really taking place.
I'm
I'm
reading
driving
the
to work. People are talking about it. It's still not setting in. I see it on all the freaking tickers on ESPN, MLB Network, whatever you want to be. It was probably on the Food Network at that point, for all I care. I don't know.
well, considering your line of work.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, and I'm reading these tweets from Susan Slusser right now.
I feel so bad for her.
Oh, well, I mean, she also kind of fucked up the judge stuff. And then she turned around and said the Giants and Correa had new terms agreed to, but that was deleted. She says, quote, Scott Boris tells me that after the Giants canceled their press conference the other day, they indicated they still wanted to negotiate about Correa, but he didn't hear anything from them. 12 hours later, him and the Mets worked out a deal. A very old Correa injury pre-MLB that was raised as a potential concern. It has not cropped up again. None of Correa's other physical issues have required medical intervention or ongoing treatment. If this was a medical concern that sounds tenuous, and if it was a matter of cold feet, that's usually ownership. So we're also looking at a world where Giants ownership, who mind you, aren't the greatest people in the world.
Mm.
There been issues of I forget his name, the Giants owner.
I couldn't remember.
Oh God,
Keep going. I'll look it up.
Larry Bear. Yeah,
Sure.
there have been reports and rumors of him like putting hands on his wife.
Bad guy.
Yeah,
Bad
and
guy.
and shit like that. And mind you, billionaire. He's a billionaire.
Well, yeah. Oh, that's right. It's this guy. Now I
Yeah,
remember. Now I remember. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what to do now. How am I supposed to just go on with my life at this point? We were
So,
a couple weeks ago, the sky was falling. DeGrom hated the Mets. Everything was terrible. Baseball was the worst. And here we are 3 weeks later,
if even.
and baseball's the best. I went from never wanting to watch a baseball game to needing to watch baseball tomorrow.
No, I'm already thinking about my trip to St. Lucie.
Hell, I may need to get down there.
No, I mean it's going to be. I don't know if like spring training can have buzz like
Oh, it
Mets
has
camp,
buzz.
like Mets camp is going to have.
Yeah,
But Mets camp is going to have buzz like spring training has never seen before.
right,
Because I mean, you even just think about it. You have the Japanese sensation coming in.
right.
That's buzz.
That's buzz.
You know, a future Hall of Famer reuniting with his old teammate, who's also a future Hall of Famer.
Right,
That's buzz.
buzz.
You know, the all world third baseman coming in. That's
Mhm.
buzz.
Buzz.
You know, you build this like really solid back end of your bullpen and get some big re-signings done. Nemo and Diaz. That's buzz.
Buzz.
Two top prospects getting their first chance to crack camp.
Big time buzz.
That's big buzz. All five of those things happening at once got like one word for this, really.
Buzz.
It's gonna make a lot of sense. No, no, it's gonna make a lot of sense when I say it.
All right.
Just fuck, man.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Fuck.
going to be the opposite of rough scenes. The opposite. The scenes will not be rough, hopefully.
I remember going to camp like 3 or 4 years ago and just seeing this big ass brace on Jed Lowry's knee. I remember thinking to myself, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I was thinking to myself, like, they're paying this guy $10 million to do what? Turns out he did nothing.
Didn't do a thing. 8 at bats.
Jed Lowry died so these guys could walk.
Yeah.
He's not actually dead,
Right.
but proverbially.
So now, fun question, and then we'll probably end it here because I don't know what to do else besides just talk more about Correa. What will have more? A Mets spring training game or a Pittsburgh Pirates game in June? What has more fans?
Clover Park is not terribly big. The
Right.
capacity is like 7,000.
I mean,
And then you're putting fans on the berm. If the Mets are smart, they run out a game where like Verlander's or Senga's first start is also Correa's first game.
yeah, you have to loop some of the stars in together.
I think
Have Correa and Lindor run out at the same time to open the season.
I think there is a good chance that it's a Mets spring training game.
Yeah, I'm not even going to say the A's because that's mean to the A's.
Yeah, it's disrespectful.
It's disrespectful.
They,
It's more actually more disrespectful than the Mets spring training.
they do it to themselves enough.
Yeah, that's true. The A's are going to have 3,500 people. Sorry, Trevor May. I hope you get traded at the dedeadline because you deserve
He
better.
will. He already like tweets saying he's going to get traded at the deadline.
I mean, he knows what he's doing.
But yeah, I will turn around and say Clover Park.
And I don't think it's necessarily close, especially if it's like Pirates Reds. I was going to that game.
Pirates A's.
Pirates.
Every team plays every team this year.
Yeah.
But April 23rd,
Mm-hmm.
Mets
Sunday
Giants
Night Baseball.
Sunday Night Baseball from the Bay.
That is in the Bay.
And you're gonna have the Mets in Chavez Ravine. You're gonna have I
How
think the
loud
Mets
are the boos going to be for Correa?
oh, I don't think people quite are the biggest missed point of all this so far that no one's really talking about. The rivalry that's going to be uncorked between the Mets and the Dodgers the next handful of years
Oh,
because of simply what Correa did to those people.
I can't wait. It's going to be fun,
And
man.
they know that championship's fake.
Oh, everyone does.
No one's looking at Anthony Davis and going, "Hey, he's a champion." Of what? Minnie Mouse?
Right.
The fuck was he doing? Like, I can't say that. Even that's too extreme for me. But look, I love Disney. I go to Disney a lot. I'm not gonna
Right.
make jokes about doing inappropriate things to Disney characters.
Good. Good.
Yeah, yeah. But like, even Dodgers fans know that that championship's fake. They know that ring doesn't mean anything. But but what's gonna come next? There's gonna be a couple Mets, Dodgers, NLCSs.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and guarantee World Series because we know what happens when you do that. But I'd be shocked if in the next 3 to 5 years there's not at least two or three Mets NLCS appearances. Am I wrong for saying that?
I'm
That's not
gonna say no.
predictions.
Look, I like
A
to
high
play
payroll doesn't guarantee a thing.
no,
It doesn't guarantee a damn thing. Ask the
but this is a
Dodgers.
but I think if we're just looking at the Mets, this is a deep team.
Right.
So I think I mean in theory, if you're looking through the end of this decade, 2030,
Mm-hmm.
then you got 8 more seasons. 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30.
Yeah.
Through the 2030 season, you have 8 more seasons. I think like 3 or 4 is very reasonable to expect
Every
at
other
the
year's
minimum.
fine.
At the minimum.
And now I'm just asking. I'm not asking for a lot. In the decade that you have Lindor and Correa, can you bring me one ring? I just want one. Again, not guaranteeing, not predicting, just wishing, hoping for one. That's all I want.
I don't
I'll
think you're
take
asking for
more.
a lot.
I'll take more.
Well, for all the hype that's now being put into this,
No team in baseball history, maybe even sports history, was going to have a bigger target on their backs than the 2023 New York Mets.
yeah,
I think it's this team.
yeah, it's gonna be bad.
It's this team. It's
The 0-2 Yankees,
yeah. I mean the
2018 Astros,
yeah. Good point. That's a fair point. More so the 2020
or
2021
yeah,
Astros.
whenever that all came out.
Yeah. Um, the '07 Pats, I guess.
Celtics this year put a pretty big, but that's different.
That's
Next year's
different.
next year's UConn team. After these Huskies go undefeated
Right.
and just simply win it all.
I mean, the Nets always have a target on their back, but for more reasons than just payroll. I don't know if you saw, they're spanking the piss out of the Warriors right now.
Yeah, they're up like 91-51 at the half.
Was it that? I
Yeah.
saw at the end of the first quarter is 46-17.
No, well, the Celtics are down 28 at the half.
It is 91-51 at halftime in favor of the Brooklyn Nets. Holy shnikes. The Celtics are getting pants by the Indiana Pacers.
I've tried the last handful of years. I just can't get back into the NBA. Like even last year with the
Right.
Celtics, I just couldn't get back into it. But I'm all over this year's UConn team,
Oh, you have been all over that. Absolutely.
who are the best team in college basketball.
Yeah.
But first game is February 25th.
For spring training?
Yeah.
All right. When does the WBC start?
All I know is that guys aren't going to camp. They're
Right.
going straight. They're going to camp,
Right.
but then they're going to their respective sites, and then the games start the 25th. They will
All
split
right.
squad that day. We'll be back a couple times before then,
Of course. Yeah. Definitely.
but fuck. I think our facial expressions have been awesome this episode.
Carlos Correa is a Met. He's a Met. It's not official, but I mean, there's no way this falls through. There's no way.
He already talked to the Post about it.
Right. Unless the medical comes up again and it's like, you know what? We need to
He has a
amputate Carlos
prosthetic
Correa's
leg.
arm.
Yeah, or his ankle needs to be chopped off or whatever the Giants' problem was.
This is gonna happen. This is gonna happen.
No, I mean, he's probably flying from San Francisco to Queens as we speak,
Right.
if not already there.
Right. Probably in Hawaii drinking with Steve Cohen. You already have one of the better rotations in baseball.
If
You
not
have
the
the
best.
best infield in baseball.
If not the best. Oh, you already said the best.
Yeah. I'm not going to say best rotation in baseball. We have the best closer in baseball.
Pretty damn good bullpen.
Pretty damn good bullpen. And apparently you're going to add more.
Two top tier prospects ready to impact. Not to mention one's a catcher,
Right.
where catching has never been worse in the live ball era.
Right.
Actually,
I'd
I'm
have
gonna
to
make
look
one.
back. I don't know. I don't
I'm
know
gonna make.
how to do this research,
Go ahead.
but this might be, maybe you want to call this prediction. I don't know if it is the first time, but I'm going to call it the first time in Mets history that 1 through 9, you have guys with a WRC plus over 100.
The projected everyone has won over 100 except for Narvaez, who's at 98.
Right.
I'm gonna make one more point.
Yeah. And then we'll get off because we're
I tried not to read the New York Post.
okay.
Bill Madden still writes there
Right.
all these years later. And I just think I just want to throw it out there. We as a society can have moved past the need for a Bill Madden. If Bill Madden, if you're listening, um, if you're upset because the Mets are run by nerds, um, or that they're not doing things the right conventional way that Jeff Vopon used to tell you as he tickled you, um, if he used to tell you that over the McDonald's he would buy you because he's a cheap ass, it's fine. But kindly stop writing
Mm-hmm.
if
Mm-hmm.
that's what the point of view is going to be. The best players in baseball aren't signed for a million a year anymore.
Right. That just doesn't
Carlos,
happen.
why is Carlos Correa a $300 million player? Get your head out of your ass and watch him play.
He's one of the top 15 players in baseball. That's why.
If even,
Yeah.
if not better.
Yeah. I kind of shortchanged them.
So
I
if
played it safe.
so if being owned by a multi-billionaire and winning 101 games and then adding some phenomenal players and get somehow still getting better despite half your active roster being pending free agents. If that is what makes them run by nerds, I hope every team in baseball is run by nerds. If
Yeah.
Ben Zosmer and research and development scares you, I'm sorry, man.
Tough.
But let's grow up.
Yeah.
Grow up. Sorry, man. It's not 85 anymore. Fred Wilpon isn't scratching your back as you're writing every word he tells you to write. If you want to go shill for someone, I'm sure Hal Steinbrenner would love for someone to come in saying New York teams are spending too much money.
It's so timely and fitting right now that as we're talking about Correa signing with the Mets and you're just spitting facts over here. I don't know why on December 21st, but there's fireworks going on outside.
Some holiday just start? I don't know. Hanukkah started a couple of days ago. Did Kwanzaa start today, maybe?
I don't know.
I admittedly know nothing about Kwanzaa.
Yeah.
Actually, I think Kwanzaa's after Christmas, 26th.
There you go.
I promise you it would have taken Bill Madden longer to figure that out.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's okay that the Mets are good and they're run by a billionaire who clearly knows what he's doing.
What a time to be
Alive.
What a time to be alive. That's probably been my saying of the day. What a time to be alive. That, and to quote you before, fuck, man. This is uncharted waters for Mets fans, and just let us be happy for a freaking weekend, please. We went from our the Mets holiday gift to the Mets fans is Dellin Betances, who is awful, to now it's Carlos Correa. I think I'll take that trade off.
I remember I said something on Twitter a couple weeks ago, the night this Correa the Giants stuff broke. I sat there and I watched Ahmed Rosario and Dom Smith collide in short left field
Yeah.
to drop the last out.
Yeah.
To the San Francisco Giants.
Hmm.
I deserve this.
We all do.
We all
We
do.
all do.
Yeah.
Well, do we end it there or
Yeah, man. Fuck. I got nothing else to say.
I got nothing else? Um,
God damn it.
I,
The
I think
Avs are losing.
it's what?
Yeah, Avalanche are losing.
Oh, sorry to hear that, buddy.
Nah, it's okay. It's only the first period still.
Yeah, the Devils are losing. This would be their 7th straight loss, and I got to be honest,
I was gonna
don't
say
care.
they fucking fell off a cliff.
Yeah, guess what? Don't care.
Hey, the Broncos won.
Woohoo!
Latavius Murray turned back the goddamn clock. Hey
The
man,
Broncos and Giants won for the first time in the same week, and who
since like
knows how long?
the
Just
Clinton
set the world off its
presidency.
axis.
Ugh. But not the Jets.
No,
No,
no, no,
no, never.
no.
That's spiraling downhill.
Yeah, it's unfortunate,
No, it's
but
not.
what are you gonna do?
I'm a unbiased hater of the Jets.
I'm not a
Not because
hater
of
of them.
no,
Actually, I
no, I'm
root
a
for Zach
certified
Wilson,
hater of the Jets.
but
I got no reason to root for them. I
that's
think they're
fair.
annoying.
It's fair enough.
Sports, look, I think every team needs its armpit. Or not every team, every sport.
Every sport.
Every sport needs an armpit. I mean,
Yeah.
right now, if you're looking in basketball, it's for good, better, and different. The Nets.
Yeah. You know, they're turning around. Kyrie's just stopped talking entirely.
Yeah,
And
and when it's not them, you got a team like the Pistons.
they're always doing something.
Then you got Sacramento.
Always doing something.
It's not Cleveland anymore.
Yeah.
In football, but the Jets are still going to Jets.
Mm-hmm. It's not
No,
Jacksonville anymore.
it's still kind of Cleveland.
So it's still very much Cleveland, but it's not Jacksonville
No, Trevor Lawrence looked really good.
because they got rid of their armpit and Urban Meyer.
He's America's armpit. Jacksonville itself is America's armpit,
It's a great point.
but
Jersey gets a bad rap, but it's
Jacksonville is easily the worst place I've ever been in my life. Nothing will ever beat when some woman burped straight into my face at TIAA Bank Stadium.
I love that.
I
Love
did
that
not.
for you.
I did not.
Well, now we're just going on different tangents. It's too early to do predictions.
Who's the armpit of the NHL right now?
Chicago? No, kind of, but the Ducks.
Fair. My brother's a Ducks fan.
I'm sorry for your brother.
He's fine. He's not a Mets fan though, so
Oh, so then
he's not a baseball guy. Fuck him.
sad life for him.
Oh yeah. Well, for us, but not anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. To death with Lowell Mets.
Oh, that one's so done. So
If
done.
Lowell Metsing is winning 101 games, then just losing to a hot team, say la vie, man. I'll take it.
And then
So
spending
much
800 million,
over.
I'll take it.
I'll take it over. Take it so much over all the other bullshit.
The strides this franchise is gone. But that's it. No more. We're done.
That's what fuck you money is for.
Oh yeah. That's Ashley Monday and Steve Cohen. Jack Ramsey, Antonio Slater, Carlos Correa Met. Follow, subscribe, do it again and again and again and again and again and again. Comment, do whatever you have to do.
You have 315 million reasons to do it now.
Sure do. You sure do.
No excuses.
Once again, because I doubt we're going to come back before Christmas, because why would we? But that's all we have. And as
Merry
always,
Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate. Happy Yule, whatever it is.
Boxing Day, all of them. Cover everything.
A lot of love lost for the Canadians.
Yeah. And as always, LFGM.